This episode is brought to you by Google Gemini. With the Gemini app, you can talk live and have a real-time conversation with an AI assistant. It's great for all kinds of things, like if you want to practice for an upcoming interview, ask for advice on things to do in a new city, or brainstorm creative ideas. And by the way, this script was actually read by Gemini. Download the Gemini app for iOS and Android today. Must be 18 plus to use Gemini Live.
The sounds of the season can often sound like this.
So, when are we getting some grandkids?
But with Hilton's Season to Stay sale, they could sound a bit more like this. Or this. Stay and save up to 20% off when you book before January 5th at Hilton.com. Hilton, for the stay. Minimum 2-night stay required. Excludes luxury and all-inclusive properties. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you ever work there as a manager?
No, this is something...
Okay, so you knew you weren't working there, and yet you took how much to be able to have your license? Because when somebody sells their license, they know they're not working there. You guys don't think I fell off a turnip truck, do you?
This is the plaintiff, Kadisha Johnson-Gordon. She says she rented the defendant's cosmetology license so she could open up a beauty bar. The defendant was supposed to register her business. She didn't, and now she wants the $1,500 she paid her returned. This is the defendant, Celeste Edler. She says she was offered a manager's job at the plaintiff's beauty shop, and she agreed to let her use her license. Well, the job she was promised never happened. This woman jeopardized her good name by not having her business properly registered. And if anyone's owed money today, it's not the plaintiff. She's accused of not returning money. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $5,000 for lost wages.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Ms. Gordon.
Hello, hi.
And your business, Pink Diamond Beauty Bar, is suing Ms. Adler for $1,500 that you say you want returned. And she is counterclaiming $5,000. You actually say that you're out $11,000 in lost wages. All right, let me hear from you first. What's going on here?
Hi, Judge. So I met the defendant through a mutual friend, 2021. We made an agreement that she was gonna let me use her cosmetology license for a year in my beauty bar to hang up on the wall. She charged me originally...
She was gonna let you use her license. What does that mean?
In the beauty bar, in case you use chemicals, you have to have someone there with a cosmetology license, which we didn't have anyone there to use that use chemicals, right?
So wait. Are you supposed to have a license there or not?
Yes.
If you're supposed to have a license, then there's a reason why you're supposed to have a license. So
Yes.
was she working for you or not?
No, she was not working for me.
Okay, so, and do you have a license?
No, I have a business license.
Yeah, that's not the same thing. I can have a business license. That doesn't make me a cosmetologist. And so you were displaying her license?
Yes.
Did it have her name on it?
Yes.
But she didn't manage the place or work for you at all?
No.
And you're the only person there, and you have no cosmetology license?
Yes.
Okay, you know that that's completely illegal?
Yes.
Okay, and you accepted how much from her?
The first time in August of 21, I did not accept the money first. We actually had a conversation. I met with her at the beauty supply.
How much money did you charge her to inappropriately and illegally use your license?
I didn't charge her to inappropriately use it. She promised me a position there as a manager first.
Okay, yeah. Did you ever work there as a manager?
No, this is something...
So you knew you weren't working there, and yet you took how much to be able to have your license? Because when somebody sells their license, they know they're not working there. You guys don't think I fell off a turnip truck, do you? So how much did she pay you to illegally use your cosmetology license?
She paid me the first time $1,300 with the intentions to actually...
Oh, come on. Why would she have to pay if you were working there? Go ahead.
Honor, it was $1,500. I actually have a
Okay, whether it's 15 or 13, there's an amount that she pays you.
Yes.
Then what happens?
May 2022.
Which was how much later?
Like 6-7 months later.
Okay.
Almost 8 months later.
Okay.
She sent me a text message. Hi, Khadijah, how are you doing? I'm having a little money issue. I know the year hasn't run out as yet. Is it possible that you could pay me early?
Wait, pay you in May for the following January?
For the following year.
Are you serious?
Yes.
And what did you do?
Because me and the defendant had a good relationship at the time, I said, okay, sure, no problem.
Why don't you just say I don't have the money? I can't, sorry.
Because we had a good relationship.
Well, I have a good relationship with Douglas. If he asks me for $1,500, I'm going to tell him, sorry, I don't have the money. I really don't care if he believes me. I'm just not going to, that's not true. If you needed.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Just not for an illegal license.
Okay.
Right.
So, I said, okay, no problem.
So you gave her $1,500 for the next year?
Yes, supposed to be for the following year.
Okay.
September came around and the city where I live in came and said, hey, where's your business license? The business registration license they asked for was not inside of the shop on that specific day.
So then you went to City Hall and showed them
showed them my documents, and they said, you're missing one form of document, which is a zoning document, which I originally, when they came, the lady did not explain that to me. So I misinformed the defendant and explained something completely different to her, thinking that I needed more documents from her also, meaning her cosmetology license, which was completely incorrect. I then texted the defendant and explained to her, listen, I explained to you wrong. I apologize for explaining wrong, but I don't need this.
What had you told her you were going to need?
Originally, I told her that I needed her to register my business.
To register your business?
Because that's what I thought.
What?
Because
Can I ask you something? If you're not qualified to do this on your own, just don't do it to people.
Do it.
What is it you do there?
We do braids, makeup, and lashes, but the other girls,
Why don't you get your own license?
Now I have mine.
Yeah, how hard was it to get?
No, it wasn't.
Was it $3,000 or $8,000 hard?
No, it was not.
Right.
No,
right?
it was not, because this situation made me end up getting my own, yeah.
Okay. So during the discussion, when she thinks she's going to register your company under her name, what does she tell you?
Then.
What does she extort you for that? What does she tell you it's going to cost you for that?
Then she said, oh, no, this is a different price now. This is a different ball game. I have to do this. I'm going to charge you. I'm going to speak with my husband, and I'm going to let you know how much I'm going to charge you.
And then how much did she tell you?
$5,500 additional to what I already gave her.
Did you ever agree to do that?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so then when you call her and say, hey, I had it all wrong, you don't have to register anything. She never registered anything in her name.
No. Okay.
Then when you call her and you tell her, yeah, that's not what I need.
I text her. I needed the proof.
And then you tell her what?
I said, she kept texting me, asking me, hey, what are you doing? What's going on? This, that, and third. Keep in mind, her license expires October 22nd of 2022.
Didn't you know that already before?
No, it didn't. Yes, we knew that. We had all of that established, and
so then why did you pay her for the whole year for license?
She was going to give me the new one. Every year you're supposed to get a new license. You're supposed, every 2 years or so you're supposed to get an updated license. So that was the agreement between me and the defendant. She was going to give me the new license in this year for me to be able to use. Okay. Once I text her, she texts me and I said, okay, I'm not going to need anything else from you. I just need the new cosmetology license, not the expired one. Her response to me was, this is a whole different ball game. This is something I charge you, because I was trying to be generous, I charge you a small amount, and no, until you have the money to give me, I'm not going to give you my cosmetology license. So then I said to her, well, then I don't need your license. I already have somebody else to do it. I don't need yours anymore. So just the money that I gave you in May, just reimburse me back the money.
So that's what you want back, the money that you precipitously gave her in May to illegally use her license in your establishment because you didn't have one. Now let's understand your counterclaim. First of all, are you working? Were you working during this time that we're talking about?
Yes, I was working part-time.
And what kind, were you doing something with the cosmetology licenses? Was that the kind of work?
Yes, I was a stylist. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So how many times have you done this where your license You take money from someone for them to pretend.
This is the first time.
Okay, well, we know you did it for ostensibly 2 years. What would that do to your license if the licensing board found out? You don't think it might jeopardize your livelihood?
Like I said, the first time, my intentions was to actually get hired.
I don't care what your intentions are. The truth of the matter is that if you're hired, your license would be up there because you're working there. You sold your license. No one's stupid in this room.
That's what I did the second year, yes.
Well, and you not only did it the second year, it's what you did the first year because you know that you didn't work there. So you were taking money. Oh, she promised me a job. If you're working there, you don't need to take money for it.
Yes.
You take money because you're taking the risk.
Right, but she promised. Can I explain this one thing, please? She promised to pay me to work there and pay me to put my license up in there also. So it was like it's supposed to be a double payment.
Really? Because that's not how it works. Because I go to salons, right?
Okay.
Like each person who's working there works there and has to prove that they are qualified to put chemicals in my hair, see, or my nails, or to manipulate my neck, whatever it is. We have the little thing you got to do to get a license. You've got to do it, or you don't get to practice the craft. All right? Put your hand down. Now, so let me hear from you. You got like a disgusted look that is just making me angry. You know that you did something completely wrong and your license should be pulled from you, okay? Because you sold your license.
Well, I haven't lost my license.
Well, but you may. Now, you are suing her for $5,000. You say you're out 11. 1,000 monies owed for time wasted. Explain that.
For time wasted because, like I said, in the beginning, I was under the impression, like she told me she was going to hire me as a manager. She would pay me to manage the shop and that she would pay me also to put my license in her salon. That was the agreement.
Why would she need to pay you for your license if you're managing the shop? That's all that's required is that the person's license be someone who's managing the shop. And then $10,000 lost wages from August of 2021 to June of 2022, $1,000 a month.
That's when she promised. That's when she said she was going to hire me to manage. Never got a call from her.
Tell me about the $5,500 when she called you and said, "I need you to register my business in your name."
She said she needed me to register. She didn't say she needed me to. It's in text message right here. Everything's in text message. She said, "Hey, the city came to my shop. Apparently, they didn't do the paperwork on my shop. I need the license and a shop license to go with your cosmetology license." And I said to her, I said, call me so I can understand what you're talking about.
Okay.
Because I thought you already had this. See, first and foremost, I've always worked for a corporate or a franchise.
Okay, so you thought she already had whatever it was.
Yes,
so what do you tell her? You call her or you two talk and what's said on the phone?
She asked me to get the paperwork up ready, and she didn't have the proper paperwork for her shop. She needed a shop license, and she needed my cosmetology license to get a shop license.
Okay.
And she would need my driver's license and my cosmetology license to actually purchase this.
And what'd you tell her that would cost her?
I didn't tell her no price at first. I just looked into the paperwork and everything for her first. And then I said, wait, hold up. I said, because this means that now I'm fully responsible for your salon. I said, so I'm not just doing this for like $1,500. That's my license on the line. If anything happens in that shop, if you're using chemicals, I started asking her, was she using chemicals? Who was working in her shop? I started asking her questions. And she said, no, we're not using any chemicals. We're not doing none of that sort. It's just weaves and lashes or whatever from the lash bar or whatever. I said, okay. I said, but understand, if I'm going to put my license on the line, I want to get paid. Truthfully.
How much did you ask for in order to?
I asked her for $5,500. I said $5,500.
Now she calls you back and tells you, I was wrong about what I thought I needed.
No, she never called me back and said that. This is what she said. It's in the text
When's
messages.
the next time you guys talk? Through text?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And she tells you, I was wrong about what I needed. All I need
No, she didn't say this. First she said, did you come up with a price? She texted me back and asked me. It's all in the text messages. She said,
what date is that?
It was September 13th.
Okay. Hey, do you understand this is going to be a total different price, being that I have to get a shop license in my name? This is a totally different thing. And she says,
and I said,
and it depends on the price. And then where's the discussion of the price? It's later. It's when she says she doesn't need it. I have all legal documents. I don't need the business license. I had it wrong.
No,
and then she explains, then you say, no, you don't need it in my name, but under my license, I'm held responsible. So that's why I have charged you more. It's business. I can't put my license on the line and not get paid fairly. It's not right to me. So you let me know what you want to do. Most people would have charged you $7,500. Okay, I have someone else who was charging me the same price you did. So because I already paid you for the year and it's only been a month, you can just give me my money back. Where's the discussion of the price?
You just asked me, where did she say anything about the price when I said, she said, hey, did you come up with a price? And I told her.
Listen to my question.
Is that what you asked me?
No, what I asked you was, did you two ever agree on a price? That's what I wanted to know. There's no agreement on $5,500.
She did say she will get it
Verbally
together.
or in text?
No. She texted and she said she's going to get it together and get back to me. And then she did say it depends on the price. She did.
So then, So then, is there ever any agreement on the $5,500? The answer would be no. I have her getting mad before that, but it's so interesting because at the end of the day, what I have is two people misusing a license who want me to get involved and make it right. That's what I've got going on here, right?
I never asked you.
So then you tell her, give me back my $1,500. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
The sounds of the season can often sound like this.
So, when are we getting some grandkids?
But with Hilton's season to stay sale, they could sound a bit more like this. Or this. Stay and save up to 20% off when you book before January 5th at Hilton.com. Hilton, for the stay. Minimum 2-night stay required. Excludes luxury and all-inclusive properties. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous 2-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
You want me to use the long arm of the law to make her give you back $1,500 that you paid her for a license that's not yours so that you could cheat and pretend that you had a licensed cosmetologist. That's what you're asking me to do.
Yes.
Right. You might as well be asking me to make her pay you for the cocaine that you sold her. Because I am not in business to enforce illegal contracts. That is against public policy. I don't know why you're smiling, because I'm sending this entire transcript to the cosmetology board. Okay? When I, as a customer, go into a place, I want to know they're not going to hurt me. That's why the board is involved in handing out licenses. And they don't expect you to sell your license to the highest bidder and not be there twice. You see? So there's nothing to smile about. You're not going to get your $1,500 because I, as a matter of public policy, don't get involved in enforcing illegal contracts. And you are going to be paying the piper. Good luck, ladies.
Have a great one.
Well, this didn't work out for either one of the litigants. It's a 0-0 tie here in the People's Court. Ms. Gordon, if you'll step out here first. You're not going to get the $1,500. It's against the law to do what you were doing, really. Did you understand that?
Yes.
Did you know?
I mean, no, I didn't really know because a lot of salons do have that type of setup, so I did not know that it was.
But I mean, you knew you didn't have anyone who was a really licensed cosmetologist. You were trying to fool people to make them believe you did have one there.
Everyone else there, for what they specialize in, has their license. It was in case of them having to use chemicals.
I know.
So.
And you weren't using any chemicals of any kind?
There's no chemicals being used in my salon. None.
Well,
thank
you very much.
Bye-bye.
Okay. All right, Ms. Edler, you realize you were doing something wrong. I kept thinking, why don't you get a job yourself rather than let her use your license?
I have a job. I am employed.
Doing
have a
what?
job. I got hair. My license is real, yes.
But you need it in your own place where you're working, didn't you?
No. Only if I'm managing.
Oh, so you weren't actually doing mixing
She only
chemicals
had a
and
copy of
stuff
my
like
license. She didn't have my original license.
Okay. Well, the judge said she's going to send it to the cosmetology board.
Okay, and what's going to happen?
I don't know. You could lose your license.
How?
The board could canceled your license. Suppose that happens. Could that hurt?
Nah.
Well, if I were you, I'd be worried.
I'm always going to.
okay?
No, I'm never going to worry.
And you were suing for $5,000. Obviously, you didn't get that.
I really wasn't looking for no money, but I'm not going to let somebody sue me and not counterclaim.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
Didn't work.
Nope. Good. Thank you. Have a great one.
Okay. They tried to pull a fast one.
So, Doug, the judge made mention of this, but look, at the base of all of this is an illegal contract. It is a contract that they made for illegal purposes to get over on the city. That's essentially what happened here. And when you have an illegal contract and somebody feels that they've been taken advantage of by the other party, the judge doesn't want to correct that because the two of them were engaged in something that both of them should not have done. So the judge doesn't honor a dispute like that because the dispute itself is based on something illegal.
My car was parked outside my house on the street. Somebody crashed into it and totaled it. I'm disabled and I need to get to my doctor's appointments. Can I add the expense of doing this to the insurance claim for my totaled car?
Yes, you can. You can, if somebody totals your car,
right,
until the moment that their insurance company or they pay you for the totaled value, right. If you have to, while they're still leaving you hanging in on your own, if you need to rent a car.
That was your only means of transportation?
Right. That was if you have to rent a car or if you have to take Ubers or taxis or whatever, right. You are entitled to that expense.
Right.
Once they pay you for the total value of the car, then you're on your own. You're supposed to take that money and buy a new car right away. So you can't do that after. But that is part of your damages. If you take away my only means of transportation, that is part of my damages.
Well, now the picture could change a little if the person totaled your car and just skedaddled. You never really caught them, and you made the claim against your own policy.
Against your own policy, then that's an add-on.
Rental car add-on.
Rental car add-on.
Right. It costs you a little more money.
Costs you a little more money in the premium, and then if it's in your own insurance policy, you can do it.
Otherwise,
but it is the damages on for the other guy to pay. That is part of the damages is what you're out.
Right. Your own insurance company, if you're making a claim
only
against them,
if you
ponied up for that rental car add-on. Otherwise, you're walking or you're on the bus.
Yes.
Or you're riding your bike.
Yes. You're asking for favors.
Right.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first, like to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
This is the plaintiff, Nancy Malaga. She says the defendant is her former tenant, and the louse is trying to stiff her on an unpaid water bill. That's right, the guy moves out, refuses to pay for the water he used while he was still a tenant, and she's not going to allow the likes of him to rip her off. She's suing for $1,363, the money's still owed. This is the defendant, Andre Ford. He admits he fell on some hard financial times during the COVID pandemic, but he managed to get back on his feet and paid all of his rent. The plaintiff abruptly sold the house. She tried to force him out earlier than expected, and she deducted the water bill from his security. He has no idea why the plaintiff's trying to double dip, but he owes her nothing. He's accused of being all wet. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,100 for the remaining balance on the security deposit.
All parties, please use your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says that her former tenant is trying to stiff her on an unpaid water bill. But the defendant says the nasty woman deducted the water bill from his security and is now trying to get paid twice. It's the case of an H2O no-no.
Thank you, Doug.
You're welcome.
Okay. Ms. Malaga, you are suing your former tenant for $1,363 for a water bill that he was supposed to pay and still owes, and you are counterclaiming $1,100 that was taken from your security deposit originally. All right, so what happened here? How long was he renting from you?
5 years, from
Okay.
2017 to June of 2022.
Okay, and did he have a lease at all times?
Not the whole time, for 3 years.
Okay, and according to the lease, he's supposed to pay the water bill?
Yes.
There's no dispute about that, right?
Not at all.
Okay, and in fact, the water bill was in whose name?
It was in my name, which really, it should not have been.
Why was it in your name?
He never put it in his name.
But the real answer is you never made sure that he put it in his name, right? And took it out of your name. You didn't take it out of your name.
Correct.
All right, so go ahead.
So there's a whole story behind the tenancy. I mean, it was 5 years. We never got the rent on time. We had to go after it. And finally, we decided to sell. And at that time, we went to a lawyer.
You lowered the rent during COVID to help him out.
We did. He presented some issues to us, and we liked him, so we said, well, okay, let's reduce it $1,350. And for 6 months, he paid $1,350
instead of
$1,470.
Okay, go on.
So it was supposed to, and we had a verbal agreement. It was supposed to go up, back, to return to, the $1,470, but it never did. Michael, who's going to be speaking, he was a witness. He actually had most of the dealings with Andre.
And what's the relationship between you and Michael?
We're ex.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was already your ex and handling your dealings?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
well, we're partners now.
Okay.
So anyway.
Wait, what do you mean you're partners?
We cohabitate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you dating?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, so go on.
That's fine. That's fine. Transparency, whatever. So it never returned. I mean, I don't want to get too personal and everything, but in the interim, his girlfriend left, and then he had a baby, and then she left, and then he had another girlfriend, and then another baby. And through all this, I feel that we were cooperative with him. We didn't get involved in his business. We lowered the rent. He continued, and we have documents, he continued to pay late in multiple payments. This doesn't exactly go to the water bill, but the one thing we didn't have problems with was the water bill. But in March, what we learned...
the water bill was going to his house?
Yes.
So how did you know whether or not he was ever paying the water bill?
We didn't. I put in a change of address. I mean, I never got a bill. At the beginning I did, because we paid money out of his deposit with his permission to pay the water bill.
Oh, so you knew it was in your name?
I knew, yeah.
Why didn't you take it out of your name?
Good question. I don't...
Okay, so go on.
I mean, I just thought it was easier. It was something...
Easier for who?
Well...
It doesn't look too easy now.
Well, what happened was...
But in any event, towards the end, when you decided to sell and told him he needs to leave, you were the one who ended up giving him back a portion of his security deposit, correct?
Yes.
And what was the discussion you had with him about that?
There was a history of the tenant not paying, being late.
Okay, we've already been over that, but that's not. Oh, maybe it is part of the security deposit.
No,
it
but
is.
then
Okay.
he didn't pay the last month. He only paid half of the last month's rent, and then stayed an extra week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Let me hear from you. What was your discussion?
The overview is, in reference to the security deposit, and I have documentation. There were 5 years of him consistently being late, paying. It was due.
So did you deduct late fees from the security deposit?
Yeah. At the end
How much in late fees?
We have documentation showing that bank statements showing that the rent came in late.
Okay, I need you to answer my question.
Yeah.
How many late fees did you charge him?
There was.
How did you deduct $1,000? That's what I want to know. How you come to the $1,000 figure?
We didn't. He did. He came and demanded $1,000 back from his security.
Is
we
that
didn't
accurate?
decide on anything.
Yes. Okay.
Because
how did you? Okay, I'm sorry. So the security deposit issue comes up, and what happens?
So essentially, the security deposit. I moved out. 30 days passed. I didn't hear anything about my deposit. I went out my way and made sure the house was spotless, clean. To get my in intentions of getting my full deposit back. It became prior to me moving out, the week leading up to
No, I don't want to go backwards anymore. I want to go forward. So tell me, when you're moving out,
yes.
Do you have a walkthrough with them?
Partially. No, not really. No.
What does partially mean? I don't know what a
it was
partial.
really a matter of me just giving them the keys, and I signed the paper, and that was it.
Signed what paper? The one where you agreed to $1,000?
Right.
Right. I'm trying. Okay. Now, I don't want to go backwards, but I don't want to skip like that either. That's the meat and potatoes of what I'm trying to get to. How is it decided that you would get $1,000 returned?
Right, and that was part of the issue because I felt like when it was time for me to move out, they were being petty and trying to tuck any and everything out of the deposit. They took out that water bill, which was agreed, yes.
Some other water bill.
Any-
Hold on one second.
Yes.
Folks, I need to understand the following. I don't know if I'm not making myself clear. I think I am. There's a $2,100 deposit. Normally that goes to the tenant.
Right.
Right? Unless there's damages. The damages could be a water bill. The damages could be... I need someone to itemize for me how you did... Yeah, but I've asked you twice and you haven't been able to... So tell me exactly how you subtracted $1,100... No. Tell me how you subtracted $1,100.
I have an itemization here of $50 late fees.
Okay.
Payments.
How many late fees did you charge him?
At least 30.
Oh, okay. But you had never charged him a late fee before that, correct? Okay. No. And then the next thing that you're deducting for is what, besides late fees?
May 2022, he only paid half the rent.
Okay. He moved out when?
June 6th.
Okay. So he only paid half the month of rent in May, and he stayed an extra week in June.
Yes.
All right. Well, they could have charged you the whole month. Once you stay extra, they can charge you the whole month.
And that's where the discrepancy comes
Well, I'll say. So then you and Michael negotiate, and you sign a document that says, I'll take $1,000.
Right.
Right. So you're each going back and forth about what it should be, and you agree on $1,000. After that, and I'm speaking now to Ms. Malaga, after that, what happens?
Right, so we went to sell, and we had an attorney. They do a search, and there's a lien on the property for $1,300 from March of
a water bill that he was supposed to pay and he never paid.
Yes, from March of 21 through June of 22.
So you know the bill is in your name, and before you give him money back on a deposit, you do not go to the water department to see if he has paid the water bill.
We asked him verbally, did you pay your electric? Did you pay the cable?
Was his electric in your name too?
What? No, cable electric was in his name.
So that's the only thing you need to check. Believe me, you're talking to someone who's been burned with it. But this is the only thing that you need to check. Right. And you didn't check it. You know you're supposed to pay the water bill, so your defense to the water bill is what?
My defense is me being a tenant. In my opinion, I felt like I was a good tenant, you know.
What does that have to do with whether you're supposed to pay the water bill or not?
But this is my whole thing. I fell on hard times. Don't get me wrong. I had COVID. It was the sickest I've ever been. It really set me back, honestly.
Yeah, but there's 30 late fees. That wasn't COVID.
Right, understood. By the time I got back on my feet was around the time they were getting ready to sell. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, you know, I'm going through the process. I'm doing anything in my power to get my full deposit, knowing I owe that water bill, right?
What do you mean knowing you owe that water bill?
Well, I knew there was a balance on the water bill.
So why didn't you just pay the bill you owe?
Well, because they were pressuring me to move out early, so thus...
What does that have to do with anything? You know that you
had to pay another deposit.
Stop. Every month or every quarter, you're getting water bills.
Right.
And you know, you're watching it go up.
Right.
And you're like, nah, I ain't paying it. It's not in my name. You paid the bills that are in your name, though, right?
Right.
You just didn't pay the bill that's in her name.
Right, and it wasn't...
You see why you don't leave the bill in your name now? You see how it's not easier?
Yes.
Oh, good. All right. So here you are getting water bills all the time, looking at you like potentially ruining her credit and anything else that you're doing by letting the bill just pile up like that. And then instead of saying, hey, there's a huge water bill, talk to the water department. I think it's this. Here's what I've got. Take it out of my security because you know it's yours. You're thinking, let me keep my mouth shut. Let me negotiate the whatever. And you want me to believe that you were going to take the money they give you back from the security deposit and pay a bill you hadn't paid in years?
That was the plan, yes.
Yeah. You are a liar, and that wasn't the plan. Because if you had any intention of paying it, you would have paid it. Okay? Now, here's the thing. You have this release that you sign regarding the security deposit.
Yes.
Did you read the release before you signed it?
Yes.
Okay. It is not a mutual release. It is a release that says you release them from any liability. That's all it says. Not they release you from any liability.
Right.
So the release doesn't excuse you from a bill that you knew when you're taking money back from them that you owed. And by the way, did you run out with the $1,000 you paid and run to the water department to pay a portion of the bill?
No, because...
But I'm supposed to believe that was your plan.
But you have to understand how unjust I was done leading up to this. You know, I was promised the world to move out early. Oh, Andre,
then don't sign the document and don't take the $1,000. Go to court. Wait, stop, Andre. All you got to do is not sign that document and not take that $1,000. You say, no, I'm going to sue you for my security deposit like everybody else does. And, you know, all the cases that I have that are like this are tenants who said, no, I'm not going to settle for that.
Right.
I'm entitled to every penny. Why don't you do that? See, I can't go behind your deal. You made that deal because you thought that the water bill was going to go down the toilet, I guess. I don't know. So you made that deal. You got the money in your hands. You have no intention of paying that water bill, and you left her hanging on the water bill. So you signed the agreement. Don't whine to me now.
Oh, no, I'm not whining. I just knew in the back of my head that water bill was floating, so I settled with taking less than my deposit. In the back of my mind, them trying to scam me out of my deposit and give me the least amount of money possible is essentially what they did. I knew in the back of my mind I had the water bill lingering. So, that was my way of balancing the books, so to speak.
In the back of your mind, you were going to shaft them. In the back of the mind, you were going to nail them.
If I didn't get my full deposit, no, okay. After I cleaned
All right, well, in the front of my mind, a person owes what they owe. So I've got to keep you to your contract of the $1,000 coming back. And then I've also got to look at this bill and say, who's going to eat that? And the person who's going to eat it is not her. The person who has to eat it is the person who actually used the water, okay? So I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiff in the $1,363. And your lawsuit for the remaining $1,100 that you voluntarily forwent when you negotiated getting that $1,000 back, no, because that release is enforceable against you. Because it says you will not whine about it. You'll just take the $1,000. So read what you sign before you sign it. And you owe the money. It's outrageous for you to look at me and say, in the back of my mind, I knew I'd run out and pay that bill. You were never going to pay that bill. Verdict for the plaintiff, $1,363. On the counterclaim, 0.
Hold on, please. Hold on.
Thank you, Judge.
So the plaintiff prevails. She's going to get the $1,300 she is seeking from the defendant. He gets nothing on his countersuit. Let's see what Mr. Ford has to say. Mr. Ford, what's your reaction to the judge's verdict?
I feel like she didn't really hear me out, but it is what it is. I would agree that yes, the water bill was used. The water was used by me. The bill was owed, but I just feel like the judge didn't hear me out at all. As far as the fact that I was promised a ton of things to move out early, which benefited the landlord.
Yeah, it's amazing you had 30 late fees. That's a lot of late fees.
Yeah,
you know that?
I fell on hard times, man. But it's just like you fall down, you get back up. I'm up now, but. It really became a matter of principle because, like I said, I felt like I was promised the world to move out early, in which I did, and I didn't get anything. So it is what it is.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
All right. Okay. Well, let's see what the plaintiff has to say. Ms. Malaga, you okay with the judge's verdict?
I'm very happy with the judge's verdict. I feel like it was a little bit excessive for us to make the journey and everything for a bill that he knew he obviously owed, but justice was done, if I could speak that way.
Yeah. I must say, you seem awfully patient to slam 30 late fees on him. That goes back a long time.
Well,
5 years.
That's what was hurtful about this. We liked Andre. We supported his family. But we were patient with him. And this is the way he did us, by hiding that water bill and not paying it, and then us giving him every dignity, every notice to, stand up to it, and he wouldn't.
All right, that will bring this case to a close finally. Harvey, they were very patient. Those 30 late fees. Wow. Okay, what do you think?
Doug, I know this is obvious, but bringing the water bill to court is the centerpiece of the case. I mean, evidence is king when it comes to court cases. And you got to think ahead of time. What is it that the judge wants to see that's going to prove I'm right and the other person is wrong? And you bring everything you can think of.
I live in a senior disabled apartment complex. Can a tenant have security cameras? My neighbor has one and watches every step I make. He knows when I leave and come back. He also calls the police on me every week for no reason. Is this harassment?
There's two different questions really there.
Yeah,
Can you
right.
call the police on somebody every week for no reason? No, that's
No.
going to get you in trouble. It's going to get you in trouble with the police, and it may get you in trouble with the person who you're harassing through it, because pretty much
If there's
every
no
state,
reason to be calling,
right,
but that's a pretty loaded question.
There are crimes like abuse of process or torts, civil infractions where you could sue somebody for it, that type of harassment.
Right.
So that's going to be a problem. However, the question
If it's true, that it's for no reason.
Right. The question about whether you can put a video cam outside
Right.
is a little different, and it's going to depend because a lot of buildings, multi-unit apartment buildings, have associations, homeowner associations, or management rules that will forbid you from certain types of things. But no one really has a reasonable expectation of privacy walking down a public hallway where anybody can walk.
Yeah, I mean, you could peek through the window or through the peephole and
Right.
watch every move you make.
So you could,
yeah.
and a lot of people have these doorbell cameras, and they give you a pretty wide angle and a lot of surveillance. They'll show the whole street in front of your house.
You have the right to do that, unless there's something in your condo association that doesn't let you, or in your building that doesn't let you. You have the right to do that.
Right.
So that part's not harassment.
Yeah. Any doorbell camera will tell you when your neighbors come and go. If you want to, if you have it looking towards their house, you can find out everything out there. Because when you're out in public, when you're in public life, you do not have a reasonable expectation of privacy that courts are going to honor.
Right.
Thanks for watching. Have a good one.